let's have a little more on the budget today, because that's why we're at Westminster. We're going to talk about the impact on business, because really there has been a big range of changes today. And we have the award-winning entrepreneur Wendy Hallett with us, who runs a fashion business very successfully, and the investor and the star of Dragon's Den, very familiar face, James Caan, too. Good to see you both with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. And it's been a very busy day. Wendy, for you, first of all, running a business, as you do, what for you is really the main impact of today's budget?
I think overall it's a very positive budget for business, and I'm encouraged by the corporation tax cuts. I think that enables us to invest more money in growing the businesses further, and also obviously on the employment front, which the economy desperately needs us to take on more people. So that gives us more money.
Corporation tax coming down this year, and then continuing to come down again when we look ahead to 2014. So in practical terms for you and your turnover in your business, you know, how big an issue is that?
I think an issue that gives me 2p more in every pound that we make to spend. And I think also it's about confidence, because if we are going to look at investing either in IT or in people, we've got to know that that's going to continue. So the fact that I think we know it's then going to come down again to the lowest rate that we've had probably for a generation gives us then the confidence. I don't think it's just the cut. Okay. I think it's the next cut as well.
James, with all of your experience, what for you is the business verdict on this package of measures today?
I would say certainly the verdict is I'm in. I think it's a good budget. I think it's encouraging. I was very pleased to see that we've got 1 million people out of the tax threshold, which I think is incredibly encouraging. I think the one area that I was very focused on is what are we going to be doing on exports, and I think the government have come out very clearly and shown a commitment to increase support and provide capital to exporters, and setting a target of achieving $1 trillion in exports, which to me stimulates the economy, it creates jobs, and it gives businesses a chance to breathe again. So I think that was excellent. I think the incentive on share ownership amongst businesses, I think, was a very encouraging sign, because when you've got people who have a sense of ownership in a business, that has to be a good thing. I think the loan guarantee scheme to stimulate people starting businesses, raising capital on a low interest rate, I think was very encouraging. Encouraging young people to start businesses, I think, again, will impact the employment market. So I think overall the measures that I think have been introduced today have been positive. I think they've been focused. They said they were going to be about business. They said they were going to focus on jobs, and I'm encouraged that those signs have come in. And finally, I think to abolish the 50p tax, I think from a sentimental point of view, I think sent a very important message, because I think in Europe that was starting to become very painful. Britain was starting to be seen, as a nation where taxation, we were not incentivising or encouraging people, we were penalising the wealth creators and the job creators. I think bringing that psychological step down from 50p down to 45p, I think it's a very good sign. I think what it needs to do, it needs to head to 40p, which I think is the correct number.
There was no mention of that today, although there had been some suggestion over the last few days that it might head that way in future. I was going to come up to that. It's not going to surprise you at all. OK, so if a viewer comes up to me after the programme and says, James Caan, he doesn't deserve an income tax cut, for goodness sake. He's very successful and that's great, but that's the kind of person who shouldn't be paying less tax. What would you say?
I'd say right now what you've got to do is you've got to encourage the people who create jobs in this country, who create businesses, who create the economy and stimulate the economy. If you put off those people, if you demotivate and disincentivise those people, the problem is they go elsewhere. And right now, I think in this country, we've got more unemployed people than we've ever had before. The people you should be encouraging and supporting are the people who create jobs. Okay. So to me, it's about stimulating the people who make, the contribution to the community.
Is that, where are you on that, Wendy? When you heard that it's 5p cut, where were you? What were you thinking of when that was announced?
Yeah, I agree very much with James that I think that it's very easy to get on the bandwagon of attacking wealthy people, and they can afford to pay the higher tax, but it's about wealth. It's the wealth creation. We need people in this country who are building businesses and who are creating jobs. So I think for me it's both ends. We need to encourage those people who are already running big businesses, but we also need to ensure we're bringing new entrepreneurs into the arena, if you like, and giving as many opportunities to people to start business.
In a sentence, both of you, because I'm really sorry the clock's against us, we've still got lots of debt to repay, and the government's repayment schedule shows that, you know, the austerity measures are only just beginning to bite. Does that have an impact for business? Are you concerned that the economic climate could yet change and become, you know, even less welcoming than it has been at some stage in the past?
Yes, and I think in this budget it is probably the middle income people who've been squeezed, and for retail that potentially could be an issue because those are the people who are shopping at the moment.
Okay, James?
I mean, all I can say, Hugh, right now, we're not seeing huge demand. We're still in a very difficult situation. I think the austerity measures have to be there because we have to pay that debt back somehow. I think the government have come up with a number of measures where the stamp duty, you know, and looking at ways of generating that money back again. To me, I think overall, we're going to have a difficult period this year. I don't think we're out of the problems right now, but I think with the Olympics coming on, I think it will give Britain an opportunity to have a little bit of that feel-good factor when millions of people, you know, come onto our shores, spend money, use our restaurants, use our hotels. I think as business, that's the only catalyst I can see right now.
There's the Jubilee as well, of course.
You've got the Jubilee coming in.
So there are two events there.
Two events, and I think, you know, let's keep our fingers crossed. You know, there might be a few green shoots out there just yet.
We'll be looking for them. Wendy and James, really good to have you in. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for sharing your expertise with us today. Thank you.